Now, some people would call this item I'm holding a BOLO, but I personally don't care much for that term. This is an articulated iridescent fish. Came out of Rose's craft closet when she was doing her clean out, and she actually had two of them, and they sell for good money. What we didn't know while it resided in her craft closet was that these are actually bottle openers. They're designed so that the jaws of the fish can pop the tops on a cold one. But the tails are articulated, and they're all kind of unique because the iridescent patterns are unique to each one. And even the shape of the jaws differ on the two we have, and I'll show you that. I don't know if you can really see the iridescence here, but I'll put a photo up. And of course, the buyer was very concerned that they got to pick the one they liked. They want to know how I was going to guarantee that. And I told him, I said, I can say that I have two of them right now. So if you act quickly, I can set aside the one you've identified as your choice. And I wondered about that when I put up the listing. You know, there's always the question when you have similar items, do you put up unique listings? Or do you put them all up, show the photos, and find a way to let the first buyer have his pick? And I like to do it that way, even though it's a little more work, a little more correspondence with the buyer, because you never know, the buyer may buy more than one. They may run the board and take 2 or 4 or 6 or however many you had. In the case of the fish, that was 2. This fish has an interesting backstory, and you could call it a BOLO. Even though I don't particularly care for the term, I think it sends the wrong signal, especially to new resellers, about if they chase those BOLOs, they'll always make good money on sites like eBay. BOLO, of course, stands for be on the lookout. And any reseller should always be on the lookout. But one of the reasons I don't like the term, it implies that if you find one of these things, it will sell, and it will sell for good money. But I personally think there's way too many variables when talking about items to call them a BOLO. What's your buy-in price? How many have sold in the last 90 days? What's the market ceiling? What are the average sale price? Right? Because frankly, by the time somebody releases a video, especially a popular content creator, and they say, look at this BOLO, well, that just drove up the price on eBay for all of those items. And if it will carry that additional cost as a sale price, I guess that's good. So rather than BOLO, we probably just need to say, this is a good item. And I'll talk a little bit about it. Because we actually have 2, right? And the one I'm packing today is right here. These are generally made in Mexico. They're made with the iridescent abalone type shell. They're linked, they're articulated, right? So the tail can move around from the body. They're all kind of unique in the sense that they use different pieces of shell. And in this case, when the gentleman started inquiring about it, I assume it's a gentleman. I haven't looked at the screen name. Okay, could be either. But when he began looking at it, he wanted to make sure that he could get the one shown in the picture that he wanted. He wanted the one with the rounder jaw. It also, I think, has a better eyeball socket. It's a cleaner, clearer look. So this is the one I'll be shipping. And interestingly enough, these are not just decorative. These jaws are designed to be bottle openers. Yeah, go figure. There were comps when we comped these up above $100, but Rose was looking for a faster sale, so she priced hers, I think, in the mid-80s, and she sent out an offer. And the gentleman, the buyer, came back and said, will you take 78? And she had put out an offer like 84, so she was already running a sale. And she said, no, I don't really want to go that low, but you can offer it to him for $79.99. She reminds me of Earl Schreiber sometimes, you know, the old Californian paint franchise. We'll paint any car for $19.95. Yeah, so she said she would go down to $79.99. And when I went to actually send that offer back to the buyer, potential buyer, I found an interesting anomaly on the eBay software. He sent me a number via the message. I don't have it set up so that buyers can send offers to sellers. And interestingly enough, the message opens up in the corner as usual. It shows the block where it says make offer. All right, so I clicked on it. It locked it out. it would not let me modify the price from the last offer price she had sent and go lower. Now, I find this kind of thing particularly frustrating about eBay because you think they would want to give sellers the maximum flexibility. You know, an offer comes in, whether it's via message or offer, you'd think they'd immediately be able to respond quickly and easily. What I had to do instead, I had to actually open up the listing and change the list price and then resave it. Send a note back to the buyer saying, well, I've had to do it this way. Here's the new price. But remember, this is now open to everyone who might have this in their inbox, so you better act fast. Well, he asked a couple more questions. He really wanted to make sure he got the fish of his choice and then bought it. So I'll be packing that up today. And what I'll do with it, it's already in a little bag. I'll show you the listing because the iridescence is much clearer in a photo than it is in the bag with me holding it up. But I'll pad it in some tissue. I'll put it in a box that's much larger than it needs to be, and I'll pack it out well. It's headed to California. And with the shipping on this item, the gentleman's paying nearly $100 for this bottle opener. So where'd they come from? Well, a month or so back, I was mentioning that Rose was doing a clear out of her craft closet, separating what she really thought she needed with everything else. And she had these two in the closet. She had either hung them in the window or planned to use them as decor. I'm not sure which. So this pair was never actually used as a bottle opener. But the point I'm making, and the reason this could be called a BOLO, if you're using the be on the lookout term, because this is exactly the kind of item sitting on a table in a garage sale, a rummage sale. You could spot it with a whole load of kitchen items in an auction photo. They're not rare, but most people don't recognize them for what they are, bottle openers, right? They think they're cute with the iridescence. They like the way they articulate. They're a conversation piece. But if you start popping people's Coronas, yeah, it'll start a conversation. Now, these happen to come from, most of these that I know of come from Mexico. They're made down there. They're not usually marked once they're loose and out of the package, but I think travelers bring them back to the States. I don't know if they were ever sold in a retail operation like, one of the international markets, but yeah, these are usually considered to be a product of Mexico. It's a nice skill to have. And if you look at these, they're built very nicely, which should be the case when you figure they're commanding $100 shipped. Now, yesterday, it looked like eBay had cleared its glitch problem. And when I began moving around the sites, it only errored once. But then immediately after, it let me back in. Yesterday, I made a video about shipping after the 8% USPS rate hike over the weekend. And the first item happened to be a military veterans ball cap. And I put that video up today. So today, the site's behaving itself. It's back to business as usual with only the common annoying little problems about eBay, right? So at least we can get into it, we can ship. And that's always nice when the site works reasonably well. Pretty much locked out of the site for a couple of days after the rate hike or during the rate hike. So this morning we started to make the changes to adapt to that 8% rate hike. And that hike, as it turns out, is going to affect ground advantage, which is the biggie, and priority, which we don't use much anymore as resellers. We do the occasional flat rate padded bubble mailer, but that's about it from the flat rate priority side. It does not affect, or it looks like it is not going to affect, media rate. So booksellers and people who sell books like me, sigh of relief. It also looks like it's not going to affect the eBay standard envelope, which is another good reason to shift anything you can over to eBay standard envelope. It's a much cheaper way to pack. And since technically the eBay standard envelope is a first-class product for the postal system, it was exempt from the rate hike. So media was exempt, standard envelope was exempt, ground advantage got hit hard. And with that first pack of the veterans cap, it became apparent that if I was going to continue to pay for the shipping labels and cover the cost to pack in the box and the packing material, I was going to have to raise my shipping costs because of that. And we did. We began today. Rose and I talked about what we wanted to do. We took a look at what the 8% was really going to affect. She had just completed cutting over the 3 stores onto business policies completely. So our thinking going in was that this was going to be a much faster evolution than in the past when they'd made a big hike like this. But it still came with some difficulties. In each of the stores, there are about 22 different shipping policies right now, and we had to sort out which ones and how much we needed to raise that shipping. For the Ground Advantage items that had been down in the $5.79, $6.79 range, we raised those about 70 cents. We took a $5.79, for instance, up to $6.49. We changed the number ending. We didn't just want to bump up to $6.79 because that would interfere with seeing the difference as we looked at all the policies we needed to change. We picked a new ending decimal number, and it came out the inexpensive or the less expensive packs moved up to 49. Basically, they moved up about 75 cents to the next $1.49. Then as we climbed in price, because remember, we use flat rate, so we're not letting the eBay software calculate our shipping. We're doing it ourselves. So once you got up around the $9, $10 range, we raised those about $1. We gave them a different ending than we had before. Before it was $9.79, $10.79. Well, now it's going to be $10.89, $11.89. So by changing the way it ended, it was easier to spot as we were in the middle of the cutover. Of course, when you talk about FedEx packages that are much larger, then we'll have to take a look at perhaps a $2 increase, because we always know that when one of the big carriers, like the post office, does a big rate hike, the others aren't far behind. Sometimes they actually precede it. But in the end, we know that the rest of the carriers will raise their prices too. So Rose did the first store. It went pretty well. It took some time. She did the second store. You could tell she was beginning to, get a little fog brain there because she made a couple of initial mistakes. When she finished the second store and straightened out the issues, I said, why don't we go for a walk? So it was a beautiful day out, very different from yesterday's wind. So we went for a nice walk around the lake. And each time we do that, we pick a different route, or at least part of a different route, to see what's going on in the community. You never know when there's going to be a curb alert or something like that, or to see a new house being built or something being torn down, or changes, because we like to stay abreast of what's changing around us. So we have effectively changed 2 of the 3 stores to deal with that 8% postal increase. Tomorrow or the next day, she'll probably do the 3rd store. Then when we got back from walking around the lake, we went and installed the new awning cover. You've probably spotted in the back of a couple of my recent videos that the sunshade over top of my porch swing, it's been blowing and flapping because the wind tore it up. So the Amazon replacement did arrive, and it fit very nicely, slid right into place. We re-leveled the swing, and I won't have the sun in my eyes when I'm out there recording. We paid up a little bit for it, but as I told Rose, getting a perfect replacement that fit right and slid right into place, that saved her the time and effort of restitching and resizing one, I think it was worth it at this point in our life. We'll get a little camp dry next time we're in town, and we'll put another coating of water repellent on top of it to extend its life, because it's amazing to think that little piece of cloth cost us on Amazon about $65, and it did ship in. And for a second, Rose thought it looked like perhaps it had been a store return and not an FBA, but a fulfilled by merchant, because there's a little bit of a dark smudge, like someone may have tried to install this and then sent it back, and then it got sent to us. So I'll have to ask her what she thinks about that when we get in. Once I do this packing, we'll merge back up in the house and spend our evening together, and I can ask her to evaluate that. And here is the one the buyer selected. You'll notice it has a big black spot in the eye. The other one has smaller black spots. You can see the iridescence here, where it's made from individual pieces of what we believe to be abalone shell. It has the more rounded jaw. So this is the one the gentleman picked. This is the one the gentleman will get. Now, I've pretty much packed it in the usual manner. I put some void fill at the bottom, took the bag that looks like that. This is the one that's not going to him. And I went ahead and put that inside of some bubble and then put some more crumple paper in. And then I'll put a crossbar of cardboard like this so that it can take any pressure that the post office puts on it, and we'll get her boxed up and gone. Because remember, Ground Advantage has insurance up to $100. So in that sense, it's no different than Priority. It simply may take a day or so longer to get to the buyer in California. Well, here it is, the fish, packed and ready to go. I guess if you want to call it a BOLO, that's perfectly fine. If everybody understands the meaning of the term, I suppose it's as good as any other. And I know I certainly will keep an eye out while I'm outsourcing for any more of these. Anything that's 8 inches long can pack out in 12 ounces, commands almost $100 shipped at the lower end of the market. Yeah, I guess we could call that a BOLO. And if I see them again, I will certainly know to pick them up. Well, this is Brian. I'm down at the packing bench, shipping out fish. Now, I've got another item sitting on my bench right now, but it's not being packed. It's being restocked. Let me show it to you. This one's a Terracotta Mask from an art exhibit. And she's older, she's dried a little bit, she's a little fragile. So we put this up in our latest auction. And I put it up local pickup because these can break, and I certainly don't want to ship it and be responsible for it. Well, a gentleman bought it, and then he said, family emergency, I can't get over to pick it up during the time slot. It's a nice item, I'll hold it for an extra few days. And he contacted us yesterday and said, no, just consider it abandoned. I got the money for the hammer price because those are the terms of the auction. But yeah, I still have the product. So I'll be dealing with that one today. But whether you want to call Terracotta a BOLO or not, it really depends, because there are just way too many variables, and that's why I don't like the term. We're only halfway through the first part of the week, and already it's been hectic around here. eBay outages will do that. Changes in the season will do that. Having to make repairs around the property certainly occupy some time. And we've got a whole list of them we'll be working on in the coming year as the weather improves. If they're relevant, where I get my materials, where I get my tools, I'll mention it. In fact, I got an email in today while we were sitting on the deck after our walk, and it was from that auction house that said, we've got another load of tools. Here are some photos. Take a look at them, and the next time you come up to pick up the lots we're holding for you, you can have some tools. You can buy some tools. So I'll look those photos over and let them know. That's it. That's what's going on. Hope you enjoyed your day. It was a beautiful day here once the wind died down last night. And the sun was out. I certainly noticed it when we were out for our walk.